Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. For the first time, an invasive species of Asian clam is turned up here in Montana.
The evidence found right here in Yellowstone County in the Billings Heights, prompting local Fish, Wildlife and Parks biologists to investigate.
The possibility of that invasive clam has Fish, Wildlife and Parks concerned.
A shell was found at Lake Elmo, but so far no live clams. Now, the Asian clam is about the size of a quarter and has been found in 46 states, including Wyoming, South Dakota and Idaho. Now, this clam, which spreads its larvae, does not have predators in Montana and could possibly take away food from native species.
Authorities reminding people to clean, drain and dry their boats to keep the clam and other invasive species from spreading. FWP spokesman Bob Gibson says it was most likely attached or in a boat that was in the Columbia River in Oregon, where the Asian clam was first found in 1938.
The reason that we're concerned so much about these invasive shellfish, mussels, clams, they have no natural predators. They get into a lake like this, they can multiply, they can cause problems, and they're very, very difficult to get rid of. Somebody had a boat in the Columbia River Basin and brought it into the Yellowstone River Basin. That's how they spread. So our message is, if the boat and all of your equipment is clean, drained, and dried, those things will not spread.
And Gibson tells us if the tests show it is indeed an Asian clam, then investigators will also check the irrigation ditch in and out of Lake Elmo.
While last night's storms brought a tornado and flash floods to several regions of Montana, another weather phenomenon left its mark in Sydney.
Take a look here. This photo is from hole 5 at the golf course at the Sydney Country Club. We're told this almost tree root-like pattern is the result of a lightning strike.
The course superintendent says the impact did blow several electrical components in sprinklers. Now, the club is also using this incident to explain why golfers are not allowed on the course during a lightning storm.
And turning to the weather, Ed McIntosh is in for Bob tonight. And Ed, we're all looking ahead to the 4th of July and hoping we'll be providing the fireworks and not Mother Nature.
Now, I think a lot of people in northeastern Montana would rather have black cats and sparklers tonight because we've got thunderstorm wind gusts have been hitting over 70 miles an hour. We've got a lot of reports about hail, a funnel cloud in the small rural community of Sun Prairie, that's south of the Malta area, not the one closer to Great Falls. Heavy rain also reported in quite a few locations as well. And that storm is still holding up pretty well right around the Glasgow area here this evening. Still a tornado watch into the yellow shaded box, but that storm is starting to move in around Glasgow. The potential for perhaps quarter-sized hail out of that, but very strong winds and very heavy rain. We'll follow that system and tell you about the weekend forecast coming up.
All right. Thank you, Ed.
Well, Montana County election officials are now expressing concern over Montana Secretary of State Corey Stapleton's plan to implement a new computer system in time for the 2020 elections.
In a letter to the Secretary of State's office, the Montana Clerk and Recorders Association said it has grave concerns with the timeline of the implementation of the new voter system. The association says elections officials across Montana need time to test the system and train staff outside of a presidential election cycle. Stapleton says he wants to take action after what he calls some really bad situations in the IT office in 2016.
We reached out to Yellowstone County Elections Administrator Brett Rutherford to get his take. Now, he tells us he too is concerned with the timeline. Rutherford says using an untested software for the biggest election he will probably ever be a part of is scary.
In Carbon County, a Bridger man found guilty today for the rapes of a woman and a 4-year-old girl. The Carbon County News reports that it took just 90 minutes to find Jean Devereaux guilty of 6 counts. Devereaux was first charged in 2017 after a teen told police that he'd molested her for years, beginning when she was just 4. During the course of that investigation, detectives learned of another victim who told police that Devereaux raped her when she refused to have sex with him because she'd been injured in a car crash. Devereaux will be sentenced at a later date. And a Denver man responsible for trafficking meth into Billings won't see life outside of prison until he's in his 60s. 42-year-old Nathan Trujillo will spend nearly 21 years behind bars for his role in trafficking meth with intention to distribute it. Trujillo was living in Billings under a stolen identity. He'd bring back pounds of drugs from Denver for redistribution. During a search, investigators found nearly 3,500 individual doses of meth in Trujillo's vehicle.
The state of Montana decided in 2015 that students attending private religious schools cannot benefit from a state tax credit. Now the state will defend that decision before the U.S. Supreme Court. The nation's high court announced today it will take this case. In 2015, the state revenue department issued a rule that said a $150 tax credit could not aid Montana students who attend private religious schools. A state constitutional provision forbids state funding from going to religious organizations. Now, 3 parents of children attending a Christian school in Kalispell challenged that rule. The Montana Supreme Court upheld the rule late last year, but now the U.S. Supreme Court will decide whether that decision violates the U.S. Constitution.
Along with each 4th of July comes a message of fireworks safety, because one moment of Independence Day celebration can change your life.
Tonight, MTN's John Amy shows us how just last year that moment impacted a Butte man, and we'd like to caution you that some viewers may find these images and details disturbing.
Fireworks are fun for many people in Butte, but one Butte man learned last year that one moment of carelessness can make fireworks very dangerous. Last July 6th, Justin Kraus picked up a firework that he thought was not lit.
After my buddy heard it hiss, and I sort of heard it too, and I went to drop it, and right about when I got it out like that, it boom.
The unexpected explosion cost him half his left hand.
Shell-shocked a little bit. It took me a minute to realize that it had happened. It blew up the window. I was standing next to a car, blew up the window in the car, and sat down in the car, and then I felt my leg getting wet, and looked down, and there was blood and a little bit of meat, and then when I picked up my hand there, the fingers, it was split just like that, and those fingers just sort of fell down. And
Justin had to undergo 3 surgeries and months of rehabilitation. In December, he was finally able to return to his job.
I can't use my left hand as much with stuff. I'm still working on getting it to where I can use it, but the right arm's definitely getting strong.
Now, this is a slightly smaller version of the firework that wounded Justin on that night. You just put it down here. You take this, which they call an artillery shell. You put it in to the cannon with the wick out, and then light it and stand back. Well, as you can see, this firework produces quite a bang. And even though Justin suffered a life-changing injury, he still counts himself lucky.
It could have turned out a lot worse. I'm pretty fortunate to end up with what I did, you know, and I think if it happened 10 times over to 10 different people, I think mine's probably one of the better results.
And while Justin was never reckless with fireworks, he said his accident shows that you can never be too cautious when handling fireworks.
You know, that one instance of, you know, being stupid about it, really, you know, not being careful was the time that's all it takes.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Definitely some good advice. Play it safe.
Yes, my father scared the bejesus out of me, and I won't even go near them. Well, all weather and life on Earth exist because of the sun. Well, without it, we would cease to exist.
So what happens when the sun's intensity changes? Tonight, MTN's Curtis Grevenitz shows us how.
Our sun has an 11-year cycle which the intensity varies. The current phase of the sun is a solar minimum, where sunspots become extremely rare as the sun emits far less energy. While you may not have noticed any changes to the sun, there are direct impacts to what happens here on Earth. First of all, solar flares stop happening. Fewer geomagnetic storms mean less aurora borealis. There are no shortwave radio blackouts. The sun actually dims. Satellites and space junk stay in orbit longer as aerodynamic drag subsides. One of the most significant effects of a solar minimum is Earth's upper atmosphere cools and contracts. The upper atmosphere could soon set a space-age record for cold. But all of this means little to the temperature in the troposphere, the layer of the atmosphere at the surface. The strength of a solar cycle is unlikely to create noticeable effects on global weather, but there are some links to weather pattern changes. More high-pressure zones can develop at high altitudes, slowing the progression of weather systems. Research has shown strong high pressure over Greenland is more prevalent during solar minimums. A blocking pattern like this forces more north-south jet stream undulation. This type of undulation and blocking caused Montana's recent brutal winter. The connection between solar activity and surface temperature on Earth have yet to be fully understood or linked by the scientific community, including NASA. But this solar minimum is something NASA and the scientific community has never seen before. And now you're a little more weather-wise.
All right, up next on tonight's 10 o'clock news, President Trump and Vladimir Putin reuniting in Japan this week. We'll look into that and more at the G20 summit.
Plus, Governor Steve Bullock was just beside himself during a debate last night. We'll hear what he said.
And later in sports, we take you inside the life of a rodeo star during Cowboy Christmas, a life he wouldn't trade for the world.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger, Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire, and sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.